Continuing now with our lead story, a New York City grand jury declining to indict a police officer who killed an African-American using a chokehold. Earlier today, the mayor of New York City said this.
There are so many families in this city who feel that each and every night. Is my child safe? And not just from some of the painful reality of crime and violence in some of our neighborhoods, but are they safe from the very people they want to have faith in as their protectors?
The mayor referring to the NYPD. Joining us now from Miami, civil rights attorney Andel Brown. And here with us in the studio, former New Jersey prosecutor, I should say, Robert Bianchi. We'll get to the case in a moment, but Mayor de Blasio pretty much throwing his entire police force under the bus there, would you say?
Well, listen, I mean, these things have a symbolic meaning, obviously, to the police department, and,
yes.
and they're obviously going to feel that they're not supported here. It would be my hope that the mayor would also make an outreach immediately after this to the police department.
It's almost too late, though, because the mayor is thrown in with Al Sharpton. And the police, I know enough because my grandfather was an NYPD. The police have seen enough to say this mayor is not on our side. He doesn't have our backs. What are the unintended consequences of that?
You know, Bill, I dealt with this all the time as a county prosecutor. I mean, in many of these areas, people are asking for law enforcement to come in because they're ravaged by crime. Murders, suicide, you know, people are being killed, drug dealers, gang members all the time. And then when the police come into those locations and do the interdiction that they need to do in order to eradicate those problems, then they're being mocked at and made fun of.
Yeah, I just wonder how demoralizing Mayor de Blasio's overall point of view is on the force. It's speculation. Were you surprised the grand jury did not indict in the Garner case?
Bill, I don't have all the data, obviously, from the grand jury, but no, I wasn't.
You really?
No.
I was surprised. So was Megyn Kelly. We were both very surprised.
Yeah, I think that what people are missing here is a grand jury is a process that is meant to stop cases from going to trial where a prosecutor can't prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. Police officers are given a wide latitude of discretion in the use of force. And you see, look at that video very critically. You see that they were trying to do mechanical use of force, a continuum use of force.
I understand that, but the guy was saying he couldn't breathe. And at that point, had I been a police officer involved, it's easy for me to say, I know I'll get letters on this, but I would have loosened it up. Now, Counsel Brown, you see it as a clear-cut case of homicide against the police officer?
Well, I see it in the same way that the medical examiner saw it. I see it in the same way that we see when we look at the video. We see an officer using an illegal technique that causes someone's death.
Again, it isn't illegal. It's against department policy. It's against department policy. As I told Tavis Smiley, it's not illegal.
And that's why we have something called negligent homicide. Even when you don't intend someone's death and you do something that's against policy, which shows that it's unwise to do so, it's a negligent homicide.
Okay. Could you have prosecuted this case as a negligent homicide, as a counselor suggests?
I think what people are making a mistake.
Wait, no.
Yes.
Well, could you have prosecuted this case with the tape? Could you have done it?
I could go in and try to prosecute a case of this magnitude. I don't know, as a prosecutor, whether I would have believed I could have proven it beyond a reasonable doubt.
You had pretty powerful evidence.
But we have an ethical obligation only to bring cases that we believe we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. There's a lot of wide discretion here. It depends a lot on the autopsy report. The
medical examiner has ruled it was a homicide because the man died. And by the way, just because you rule it's a homicide doesn't mean it's a crime.
Exactly.
Right? It just means you die from unnatural forces.
Exactly.
Right? Okay, that's what it means. Now, Counsel Brown, I believe if I were a prosecutor that I could bring this case, that I could bring it in front of a grand jury and I could make a compelling case that what you just said, there was negligence because when the man was suffering and saying, I can't breathe, just those words mean you loosen up a little bit. All right? I think I could bring it, but I don't know if I could, as Mr. Bianchi suggests, I don't know whether I would win because he was resisting arrest. He was.
Well, the resistance that we're talking about happens at the beginning. There are 3 officers on the scene, then there's a chokehold. You yourself, Bill, noted that it's disturbing when you watch that video.
Very.
And this man is going down with officers on top of him and he can't breathe. I think anyone that sees that tape and really takes it into consideration would be able to return a verdict of guilty.
I'm not sure about that. I think you could prosecute it in an honest way. I don't know if the judge I can't say. We'd have to see more from the grand jury and get inside what their mind was, and I hope we do.
Bill, can I just make one important point with this?
Yeah.
First of all, the fact that he is speaking, the police are trained, means that he is breathing.
I know, but he's desperate.
It was a short period of time, if you look at that video, from when he was saying that officer was off him and the chokehold was no longer employed. And that's going to be a big issue.
We don't want to try it here. We do want to see the grand jury transcripts. Gentlemen, very good. Thank you very much.